All right, so I'm going to start right now. So today we will talk about what you can prep before the peak season. All right, so important notice. Now, at any point of time, if you cannot hear me or you cannot see the slide, right, put it into the question box so that I may see some notification here and to see whether is it something or an technical error on my end. If not, you can just drop off and reconnect back, because I do realize sometimes there is this issue whereby you see the screen but you did not hear anything, or you hear something but you did not see the screen. Okay. Now the recording will be available, but the Q&A section will only be for live attendee, for all of you here, because this is to be fair for you that you're spending your time with me, and then hopefully we can talk a lot more in the Q&A. Right, any question, let me know in the Q&A box as well. So since we are recording, right, if you are watching this recording a few months down the road, please always look back. Not say look back, but do always look for the latest information, especially things like incentive or program credits or policy updates, right? If not, always check back to Seller Central Help or the Seller Central University, there where you will get all the most updated information. A quick introduction of the team. I am in seller education team. So this team is created to provide free education to sellers who are new or existing. You could be anywhere in your selling journey. And then through Seller University programs and videos, and also this live webinar that you're attending right now. And also to clarify, this is mainly for Southeast Asia sellers, for example, like Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, or sellers in this region who are going to sell into the North America market, like the US, Mexico, Canada, all right, or even UK. Right, so if you are looking to sell into .sg, this might not be the right webinar, but there will be information that is still relevant. For example, like optimizations of your listing that can apply regardless of which of the Amazon store you are selling. All right, just in case you might need some information regarding the Amazon.sg, then it may not be the right place to be. All right, so this is what I'm going to share about for today. Get ready for listing before the peak season. Now, I saw a question in the question box. What is actually the peak season, or we call it sales peak season? This is in fact just the definition, because at different time of the year, we know that the customers will have different shopping needs. Now, with this in mind, right, Amazon offer a range of different promotional events spread across the year, right, including like public holidays or festive period, etc. Right, but there will be a few key ones like the Prime Day, which is upcoming, and also the Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Right, so these are what we call the sales peak season. Right, so during this period, there will be very high traffic and visibility, and then you can also leverage on the promotional tools that we have to further amplify your listings. Right, so again, the next upcoming one is Prime Day, so don't ask me when is it, because I also don't know when is it. So Prime Day is usually known probably about 3 or a month before the actual day. All right, so if you go by the historical dates, right, you can see that usually it could happen anywhere between like June, July, or August. All right, so once the date is known, it will be everywhere publicly, because Prime Day is one of the biggest sales event in Amazon. Right, today I'm going to go through the product life cycle and the sales funnel. Right, this is important for you because at every stage of the product life cycle, you might have different operational needs that you can focus on, like when you're launching a new product, which is the new product phase, what you should focus in this phase, and the fluctuation phase, the stable phase, and lastly, we all has to agree that there will usually be a declining phase, whereby your sales may not be as high as when you first started out. And this is the typical Amazon shopping funnel. So I think it can apply for all other shopping funnel as well, but typically you can see the top of the funnel whereby is the exposure, And then moving on to the consideration stage, right, where there are intentions, of your customer clicking on your products, all right, and then down to the conversions, and then ultimately having repeat purchases. All right, you can see that, in throughout these stages, something on the left, you can see you can leverage Amazon official products or even third-party agency to help you get more awareness, or basically just advertising services that's available for sellers. It can be off Amazon advertising services. And then on the right hand side, you can see we do have self-service advertising as well on the Amazon traffic, meaning that you can do or run your advertising campaign, for example, like sponsored products, sponsored brands video, etc., that will appear to the consumer who are shopping on Amazon's website. All right, so these are mainly the self-service options available for you, meaning that you can get access to it, create an account, and then you can start running your own ads, doing your own daily budget plans and bids and strategies. All right, so this is basically, again, the consumer decision funnel or shopping funnel. And here are the factors that you might want to be aware that could influence the ad impression and clicks, as well as your listing as well. All right, may not entirely be about ads clicks, right? Because things like product price, reviews might also have an impact on your sales. So to recap, if you are the newer seller, maybe in your year 2 already, all right, this is what we consider existing. But I know even in year 1, because I'm a seller myself, you may not actually grasp a lot of the information that is available for you, because there's just so much to learn about how to be more effective on your selling journey, right? So this one I want to share is about the listing, all right? What is the importance of the listing, and what is the component, and some tips on how you can create the closed loop traffic for your listing. All right, I will touch on this briefly because this is something I share typically for first-year sellers. Right, this is really the 8 key critical components, or you can say like attributes of the complete listing. All right. So obviously, experienced sellers know very well, right? These are the 8 things that they need to continuously like optimize or make it good. Right. First one, like search terms. We all know when your potential customer wants to buy something, they'll open up the page, Amazon.com, and then just search for the items, right? So this is very important, right? The browse node, in addition to the direct search, right? So it's more like placing or ensuring your product appear in the right category, right? And then putting all the optional fields that is available when you are listing, put it there so that it will be available as a filter for your potential customers who might want to filter down and narrow down to find certain features of a products that they want to buy. Right. Next will be the main image and the title. Right. So I guess everyone now should probably know already that all the main image, the first image has to be an image with a white background, right? And then you need to have a good title. Now moving on into the listing, right? This is something that when somebody clicks on the listing, this is a products details page. You have the title again, the appearing, the brand name, the product images, right? These are the additional images. This is not the main images, all right? So if you have additional images, it will appear after your customer click on to the product listing of yours. Right, product bullet points, make sure you try to put in at least about 5. Right, the main purpose of putting product points, the bullet points, to highlight your product key feature, your unique selling point, a special feature, or any important information that you think that your target seller will want to have it in the product that they want to buy. Next is the product descriptions. All right, this is not to duplicate what you already shared on the bullet points, but more of to complement what you share on the bullet points. Right, this is more of like a copywriting skill, writing description, that can resonate with your target audience. Right, number 8 is the A plus content. Not everybody will have access to the A plus content. Only if you are a seller with the registered trademark, meaning that you actually own the brand, you are the brand owner, right? You will be able to unlock this brand building feature like A plus content. So a tip that I always share is to try to put yourself in your buyer or your customer's shoe. What do they want to feel, touch, think, and receive, right? Because they cannot actually touch the product. So it's more of like, be creative about how you can share those across using images and text. All right. So we keep talking about the listing completeness, right? So there is this guideline I want to share. You can't see this anywhere in your listing. It's more of a guideline that we know that it's good for to define what is considered a good listing. All right. So there is this scoring thing, and with each of these element that you use, you will kind of check it off like, okay, you have now how many elements that you have used. You can assess here and give yourself a grading. All right, so these are all the listing elements. You should try to use as many as possible. So we always advise seller to try to aim for the A grade, meaning that you have all the elements or maybe about just one missing. Okay, so highlighted here, right, these are the 4 that will really help to bring in more traffic. All right, and these are the ones that will also help your customers understand your product, your information of the product, and to make purchasing decisions. All right, these 4. Okay, moving on. So regarding the optional attributes that I'm talking about just now, you can see, let me just zoom in. Right, so if you put in as much information as possible, like those optional attributes, it will appear in the listing, and also at the search result, it can be filtered on by the attributes. Right, so these allow more information in the first place to show up in the product detail page, and secondly, because there are so many products that is being sold on Amazon, right? So there will be customers who just want to narrow down to certain things that they want. So if it happens so that certain feature they're looking for, that you actually have it, but somehow because you didn't put in because it's an optional field, your product may be filtered away, unintentionally. So this is how a typical product listing page looks like. I'm sure of you would know, but I just want to share. Right, you can see the asterisk one or the compulsory one. So those without asterisk or without the asterisk are the one that is optional. Typically, you do not have to fill it up and you can still create a listing. But again, you can see these are some more information which is very useful for your customer. So try to fill up as many of the optional field as possible. Of course, accurate information is necessary. Or don't fill up something just for the sake of filling up, even if you don't have the information or it's not accurate. Right, it might not work well for you if that's the case, huh? So if you have those information, do fill it up even though it's optional. Right, coming back to this, right? So even though that, let's say if you have all the elements done up based on the listing completeness table, all right, but if you have any things, for example, like a missing main image or your image is against or not compliant, etc., the kind of things, right? Your listing may get suppressed, and that will typically means that it's considered like a F grade, right? So any moment that your listing being suppressed means that you have a critical element that is not available, right? This is something you need to fix it as soon as possible, because a suppressed listing, like the name says, suppressed, so it won't appear anywhere. No customers will ever see that your product is there, because it will not appear in searches or anything, right? Because it's being suppressed, right? So what you can do to check, you can go to the inventory. Under manage inventory, you'll be able to see under listing tools. You can either go to this what do you call the listing. There's a listing dashboards you can view to look quickly at which are the one that have issues and try to fix it under the FYP, like fix your product tool. All right, and even if you can't find it, right, going back again, right, when you go to manage all inventory, if it's really being suppressed, you will also see it in your across all your inventory. On your one of the listing, you may see that it's being suppressed as well, right in your inventory page. So it's hard to miss unless you have a lot of product that you are selling. Then you might need to do some filtering then. Right, this will show the importance. Right, you create a good cycle if you continue to do all the things I mentioned, continuously optimizing your listing elements. All right, and then you'll be able to attract more traffic and ultimately lead to more conversion and sales. So internally, we also gather data that do shows that complete listing, meaning that listing with the A grade, typically get more order compared to listing which is B2E. Right, next I'm going to touch on some methods for creating closed loop traffic. Okay, like the name says, is to keep your customers um, in a closed loop. All right, making sure that they can still go back to your listing and buy things from you, the same seller, ultimately, right? So one thing is this new version feature. Okay, so you can create a listing to display the new version of your product. For example, you might have encountered this when you're shopping on Amazon as well, where you look at some product and then below you actually say that there is a newer model of this product, something like that. Okay, all right, because let's say if you have a upgraded version that is entirely good, it's not even a variant to start with, it's like a new model. You can put this into your own ASIN listing page, so that your customers or your previous, perhaps your loyalty customer who wants to find get a replacement, their product may have been used for a few years, they want to buy a new one for themselves or for their family, they will see that, oh, there's actually a new model, right? So there are some advantage, right? So traffic from your old listing typically will be higher than your new launch version of that product, right? So it helps you to drive traffic from your old listing to your new one, right? And then also the rest will be like trustworthy, because let's say your old product is already having very good reviews. Now having a new showing a new model, that definitely gives it more more confidence of your new product. So there are some requirements, all right? So to use this, right, you need to be the same brand, of course, in the same store, right? And then you can read through the other conditions here. I'm not going to go read through every single word. So once you met this condition, right, you have to open a case, and then just put in like which is your existing one and which is the new one that you want to link it, and then the team will do for you. Now, alternatively, if you have an account manager, you can get access assistance from them as well. All right. So this is to show that this is not considered a new version. All right. You can see that it's a totally different, one is just a normal power strip and one is with some smart intelligence in it, like Alexa smart control added. Right. Okay, next one to share is virtual bundle. Again, not a lot of seller actually know this. All right. So you can do virtual bundling. All right. So what is it about? You can make two of your FBA fulfilled product as a bundle. All right. Within the same store, you can see how it will appear like this. All right. So once you configure it, it can show like this, make it a bundle. Right. For example, in this one, you see that this is a Bluetooth earpiece. All right. Can be bundled with, looks like a wireless charger or another different earpiece or speaker or smartwatch. All right. Or you can do this. So you do not have to ship these two items together as a bundle in the first place, so long that each of these individual item itself is already being fulfilled by Amazon, you can enable this feature. Right, advantages, you can sell multiple products together, right? You increase the exposure, and ultimately it gives a better experience for your customers because you help them think about some other complementing products that they may want to, which they may not have thought so, but they may have seen it and realized, oh, it's a good bundle. And usually bundling are usually cheaper, right? It makes it more attractive to actually buy it. These are the requirements as well, right? So for now, you can see that bundle product can only be created in the US store, okay? And then there are some limitations on point 3, what you cannot bundle, all right? So anyway, those information, those products are usually not available to be sold by third-party seller as well, like digital music gift card as well, all right? So if you are already a brand owner, again, this feature is only available for brand owner, then you will be able to see this option, right? It's called virtual bundle, or you can just search for it in your Seller Central account and then you will be directed to the page, right? Some ideas here on the bundling. Right, the next one is A+ content. This is something that is very important as well. And again, only for brand owner, which means you need to enroll into Amazon Brand Registry. All right, so A+ content allows you to display images for your product in a variety of scenario. You can combine image and text to tell your unique brand story, something that is not available to non-brand owners. Or I will show you what is the difference. Right, this is a requirement. Now on the right side, you can clearly see already that it's something that you can't do it on a typical listing. Right, these are what we call the A+ content. Or this is where you can find it. If you are already a brand owner, if you did not know where to find it, you can go to the option under advertising and go to A+ content manager from there, or it's just to follow the step-by-step guide to create your first A+ content. Right, recently did a demo on this as well. If you can look into one of my webinar this month, I did a demo regarding the A+ content. Some benefits. Now you can see that you definitely get more page views, right? The product views, right? Higher conversion. Now, of course, this is in the context of you are having a fairly good A+ content images, etc. Right? It doesn't mean that any image you put in will result in this increase of the exposure, etc. All right. But I know you get what I mean, right? You can't just put just some low quality image there without proper thought or copywriting and expect it to do well. But it's not that difficult in terms of how you can structure it. So I'll go through the first one is the enhanced product description feature available like what it says. Right, you can enhance your existing product description. There is up to 60 visualization tiles. Right, it's basically drag and drop. There's no coding involved. Right, so these are different tiles that you can use. Right, different tiles will have its different how should I put it, different strength in terms of how to showcase the product. For example, like the standard comparison chart is one of the tiles you can use, to showcase the different key features of your different product. A typical structure that you can use is something like this. All right, obviously you don't have to use like entirely how this thing, because you can play around with the tiles. You can look at how other people create, fancy A plus content that attracts customers. All right, you want to start with the attention, getting the interest, and ultimately the last part is probably to direct them to your product that you want to sell as well. All right, another feature that you will be able to unlock once you have the Amazon, once you enroll into Amazon brand registry with the A plus content, is this brand story feature. So this is in addition to the product description feature that you see earlier on, the enhanced product description. You will be able to add something called the brand story module. Right, this, like the name says, really to convey your brand, highlight your strength, what does this brand believes in, what's the mission, trying to create that kind of resonance with your target audience. So ultimately your customer will be able to understand your brand better. So nowadays it's not just about putting a listing out there and just to sell. You need a very good branding. In fact, most of these good brands that you know of, typically is because of the branding that they have, and equally they have a good product to sell. Yeah. All right, last but not least, how do you make good A plus content? Right. So we do have some guide, the A plus content user guide. Then you can try to use the different tiles, etc. Balance your text and image, right? All these are good to know, but ultimately I would say that you definitely know or view some of these listing before that you think is very informative, very attractive, that makes you even want to, continue to shop on the listing on the page itself, right? So that will be a very good start, all right, to go and learn and get inspired by other sellers who manage to create very nice and attractive A plus content. Right, so typically I will always, do that to take reference so that you do not have to start from scratch to know what you want to put. Right, and of course, you can be creative as well. All right, I've reached about the end, so there are some universal university resources that I'd like to share. Okay, for existing seller, you might want to start, reading on this. So typically, if you are already selling, you might want to know what you can do. Let's say if you had any, or rather, if you see any form of like infringement, where you may see that other seller or other listing might be selling a product that you did not, give them approval. How can you report, right? And then as well as how can you reduce the possibility of having somebody reporting on your product as well, right? So this is important. You want to make sure that you clear this out as soon as possible before any big sales peak seasons like Prime Day. If not, you might get affected, right? And typically, this kind of violation depend on the severity. It might take a while to be resolved. So you want to make sure that all these are resolved before the big day so that you can capitalize on the traffic. Right. Another thing is this brand building operation model, you can also take a look right there, talk about all the branding solutions that Amazon have for you to further amplify your brand on Amazon. Once you have the Amazon brand registry, or once you enroll in the Amazon brand registry, you'll get all these brand building feature unlocked for you. Okay, lastly, because I saw some question asking about where to find product, right? Whether you are new, you have a product already or you do not, I think this guide will be good as well to share with you how you can source your product. All right, there are some recent inputs from some of our service provider network and some sharing by some top sellers that where they actually source and how do they actually source their product. Really good tips over here. All right, this is a new guide that we have. All right, this is one of the important thing. Right, we talk about preparation before the peak season. Now, Prime Day is coming soon. All right, so these are the key dates. We also have a microsite that is already set up for the Prime Day. You can scan the QR code. Right. So some key dates. First one is the PED sourcing window open. Right. PED is prime exclusive discount. Right. Sourcing window means that this is the time now that you can start submitting your prime exclusive discount. All right. Yep. And then remember to select that this discount is for the Prime Day, right? So the date won't be available yet, but you need to make sure that you select the checkbox. All right, that's a and then typically a week or 2 week before the actual day, the window will be closed, meaning that you can no longer submit any of these. Okay. Then the second date, which is very important, which is the FBA inbound cutoff for Prime Day. All right. We don't know when is the exact day, but we do know that this is the cutoff, June 20th. Right now, it's already May 16th. Okay. So hopefully your shipment is on the way. If not, you might need to use air shipment. All right. So this cutoff date is important because if your inventory reaches after this date, it will likely not have sufficient time to be checked in, and then meaning that it might not be available during the big day, during the Prime Day. So you actually lose out to a lot of potential sales and traffic. Okay, so try to send it in before this date, June 20, so that it will ensure that during Prime Day, your product, your inventory will already be in, and then your customer will be able to see your product during the Prime Day itself. So do take note of the inbound cutoff date. Right, if you are using FBA, which I think most of you should be leveraging FBA to inbound or to fulfill your products. Right, last but not least, we have another webinar this month, which is the ads webinar. That is something you want to consider regarding your ads campaign. All right, so in the ads webinar, Hui Qi will be talking about what are the advertising tips that you can adopt for Prime Day for your product. Last one, I put this in quite last minute actually, due to the fact I saw that some of you are considered new. Right, so we have a newly launched what we call the new seller accelerator program. Right, if this is something you think you need, right, do sign up. All right, at this page over here. This is a free of charge structured 12 weeks curriculum to help you launch on Amazon. So it will come with some online session, and then there'll be some consultation, and then we also have some service provider who will be joining the session as well, and some sharing from existing seller. Right, so if this is this is something you are interested in, you might want to sign up as well. All right. But of course, if you are already experienced, then there's no need for you to join this. Okay, we are moving on to the most exciting part.